Every so often, a question comes along that feels simple on the surface, but underneath it carries the weight of a whole society trying to understand itself. Is high blood pressure reversible? It sounds clinical, technical, a matter for doctors and researchers in white coats. But in these mid 2020s, with hypertension shadowing nearly half of American adults, that question reveals something deeper about how we live, what we value, and whether we still believe in our capacity to change. Most people don't feel their blood pressure rising. There's no alarm bell, no sharp warning. It builds quietly, shaped by diets heavy with salt, by stress that never relents, by communities where the healthiest choice is often the hardest to reach. And for too long, that silence has led people to assume the damage is permanent, that once pressure rises, it's only a matter of managing decline. But if we're honest with ourselves, the truth told by decades of American studies is more hopeful and more demanding. It says reversal is possible, not guaranteed, not easy, but real. And it asks whether we're willing to confront the conditions that led us here in the first place. I remember back when we were working on the Affordable Care Act, sitting with families who'd been told that their health problems were just the way things are, genetics, bad luck, fate. But science, especially the US studies emerging from the early 21st century, told a different story. The premier trial showed that when folks combined weight loss with exercise and the DASH diet, systolic pressure dropped by 16 millimeters of mercury in just a few months. 16. That's not a subtle nudge. That's a reversal strong enough to change the course of a life. And then there was ENCORE, a study that taught us something even more profound. People who embraced structured lifestyle changes didn't just see quick improvements. 8 months after the intervention ended, many of those gains persisted. The body remembered the care it received. It held on to the healing. That kind of sustained progress doesn't happen by accident. It happens because people, sometimes for the first time, were given a fair chance, the knowledge, the support, the space to reclaim their health. Now, I'll tell you, when you're sitting in the Oval Office, you learn quickly that change isn't just about telling people what to do. It's about understanding the world they're trying to change within. I've walked through neighborhoods where fresh produce was harder to find than fast food. I've met folks working 2 jobs who barely had time to sleep, let alone meal prep quinoa. I've seen communities where stress wasn't a moment, but a landscape. So when we say hypertension is reversible, we also have to acknowledge the ethical tension baked into that claim. Because reversal requires personal resolve, yes, but it also requires systems that don't stack the deck against people from the start. Food deserts don't disappear because someone decides to eat healthier. Work schedules don't soften because someone wants to exercise more. Leadership has a role here to make those healthier paths real, accessible, worthy of the dignity every person deserves. Still, what gives me hope is that these studies don't just measure blood pressure, they measure resilience. They show that consistent habits, small daily commitments, can reduce long-term medication needs by 23%. They show that communities equipped with knowledge can narrow health gaps that have persisted for generations. They show that science, when paired with human will, becomes something more than data, it becomes liberation. And that brings us back to the heart of this moment in our democracy. Because the health of a nation isn't only written in legislation or budgets, it's written in the lives of its people. When someone reverses their hypertension, their world opens one less stroke to fear, one more year to watch a child grow, one more chance to live with energy and purpose. Multiply that by millions, and you start to see a country not weighed down by crisis, but lifted by possibility. Today, we have wearables guiding our choices, preventive care expanding in fits and starts, policy debates that reveal just how much strain still shapes our daily lives. But we also have something else, something quieter and steadier. We have proof that the arc of healing bends toward freedom when science meets soul, that every reversed reading whispers, we hold tomorrow in our hands. So the question isn't just whether high blood pressure is reversible. The question is whether we, as a nation, will build the conditions that allow that reversal to reach everyone, not just the lucky or the wealthy or the well informed, but all of us. And in that work, what choices will we make? What kind of society do we want to become? And when the quiet opportunity to heal presents itself, will we answer